So the gentleman in conversation this afternoon is, he's a man that inspires me because of everything he has accomplished in such a short time. He is a politician. He is the founder of the Modern Democratic Party. You can clap to that. He's also the chairperson of the Central Working Committee of the Future Project. Put your hands together. And I spoke about leaders by design earlier. He's definitely a leader by design. And so please, this afternoon, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Bukui Olateru Olagbegi. Let's celebrate him till he gets here. You may be seated, sir. And to have this conversation with him is, I don't know whether now is the time to introduce her, or to wait until later before I go into the broken down introduction. But years ago, when I was in Unilag, at a point where I needed visual representation of leadership, of the kind of person or woman I wanted to evolve to, this woman sprung up to my own presence. I didn't know her before then. And gave people like me the opportunity to grow, to blossom, to express ourselves, and to experience God like never before. She's passionate about the next generation. She's passionate about the things of God. Then in her chosen field and profession, she's a star architect. She's been recognized by CNN and so many other bodies and organizations. She's a professor. But we all just call her Sister Jumoke because she's amazing like that. Please put your hands together and welcome the one and only Professor Olajumoke Adenowo.
Thank you.
Do better.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we move quickly? Thank you so much for the warm applause. I need to introduce one more person who is joining us. Are you introducing him? Am I doing that? Yes. I'd like to introduce my son, TJ Adenowo. Come up. Sit down, Mukui. Who is an engineering student in the University of Exeter. He plays rugby, having played for Lancashire under 18s, North of England under 18s, the vice captain of the Stony Horse rugby team, graduated with full college honors and academic honors. Right. Is it boasting if I introduce my son? Lala didn't do it. Sit. Okay, what we wanted to do is have somebody very young and somebody youngish join us in the conversation. Now turn to your neighbor and say you're welcome. All kinds of things are happening. I hear Generation Z has an identity crisis. Do you agree? I agree, yes. I don't agree, yes. Why? Even why? Okay, the people in why in front are going to talk. Let me start with the younger person so that his confidence builds up. Okay, so TJ, do you agree that Generation Z has an identity crisis? Why doesn't he have the mic?
Hi everyone. To answer the question, I'll say yes, I do believe they have an identity crisis, mainly because I think it stems from the characteristics that this generation has. So we are firstly quite competitive and we like being individual and independent, and obviously that doesn't help the situation because also this generation is one of the most least religious generations ever. So that just makes the whole situation hard because you're individual, you're not religious, and as we know, religion actually helps people with, a community, and with your faith, you can find community. It helps you when you're down, and it gives you a sort of self-worth and allows you to, actually have an identity and actually believe that you're someone who deserves to be on this earth. And then it also doesn't help that this generation is the generation of social media, and social media is very key in self-worth a lot, because even simple facts like on Forbes, it says that 42% of this generation actually believes that social media impacts your, self-worth, like, directly. So that just, I mean, negatively directly, yes. And it just putting all that together just causes you to, one, not know where to find your identity, and two, you being by yourself, not knowing what your identity is. And that is a spiral downwards.
Give them a hand. So what he said, should I tell you the truth? I didn't hear what I have what he said. And I'm his mother. When he's talking, sometimes I'm like, TJ, I didn't hear you. You have to say it again. But I think what he said was, that's what you do when you use your money to buy British education. Then you can't hear them. What he said was that Generation X, Z, right, is into social media a lot, and they're not a very religious generation. So it leads to isolation. Are you into social media a lot, Generation Z? It's a daft question, I know you are. But the thing there is, why do you believe what you see on social media? Do you believe it, what you see? The Generation Z is quiet. BK, please. Do people believe what they see on social media, and why do they? We'll come back to the identity crisis. Watch, good afternoon. You should see BK's watch. You will greet it. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Yes, they believe what they see on social media.
Why?
The majority believes what they see on social media.
Oh, can you tell me why? Doesn't everybody take a selfie when they're looking good? Don't you know that?
Well, a good number of people don't know that. A good number of people don't know that.
Okay, but do you believe that Generation Z, not your generation, I think you are not totally Z. Do you believe that this generation has an identity crisis? They're not sure who they are, what they want to be?
Sorry, I'm going to speak in the majority. And if you don't belong to the majority, including myself, and don't be offended, I just want to speak, what it is. Mm-hmm. I think that Nigeria as a whole, yes, we have an identity crisis.
The whole country?
Yes. I think because as a people, the majority, we have no values. We stand for nothing.
He's abusing you. You stand for nothing.
And if you look at how people look at us from the outside in, I don't think we are even defining who we are. Uh-huh. We have the identity of fraudsters, unserious people, mostly fraudsters.
People who come late for events,
Yeah, you go for events at the high commissions and they'll say, well, we started late because of Nigerian time. So I think it's in the negative. We have no values as a majority. Do you agree? Thank you.
Please, I want a mic in the crowd. You want to say something right now here. You disagree? You don't think that Nigerians have an identity crisis? You disagree? You agree with reasons? Okay. I don't know if in your generation you put your hand up in class. In mine, we did. I'm going to give DDK. We don't want to talk. We are talking in front. You're in front. Okay. What do you have to say about this issue? Do you think Nigerians, you need to rise so that we catch you? Doesn't she look lovely, Teka? She does. Yes. Go ahead.
So to the question,
yeah.
It would be great to begin with where Prince left it off. And it's first about, to answer the question, you must answer from the point of view of the people, not the individuals. So the community called the Nigerian state, the people of the Nigerian state, the youth of the Nigerian state. And as far as that is concerned, you may sit in the room and say, I have values personally, but as a people, we do not have strong values. Now, to test if you do have strong values, you can think about three things. What is it that I can die for? if I had a gun to my neck and I was told to take a detour from what I truly believed in, would I be willing to say, you had better kill me? That's the first. The second is, when I am with a critical majority, do I find myself able to stand out even when the critical majority was going north on an issue? And then the third is, when there is no audience beyond myself and the eye of God in my personal life, who am I? And what you find is, who people are on social media is significantly different from who they are in their personal lives. And these things start to show you that there is a clear a value crisis. Not many people are principled enough to first identify clearly what they truly believe in. Secondly, pass that on to the next generation or those within their communities. And third, live for it beyond comfort and convenience.
Give her a hand. So we're saying that as a people, we do not have values. JT, what does it mean to be a Nigerian to you? Because you see, okay, I've been made a professor in Germany, and people took it very seriously because it was Germany. Do you understand? They think you don't get, even my father, the professor, who I was very happy to go tell that, well, this is something you thought would never happen, and it has happened. Now we're professor together. You know, he took it very seriously. If it had been America, he wouldn't have taken it that seriously. But everybody knows that you don't joke around with the German state. If they make you a Bundes professor, you are one. I went through every rigorous, it was the Bavarian Ministry of Education that actually approved it. Do you get what I'm saying? So what does it mean if I say this is something of German origin, like a BMW? What would you think of it, of a Mercedes-Benz? What would you think about it?
Efficiency.
Okay, if I said it was of Italian origin, what would you think? I didn't hear. Stylish. Prince got it now. Stylish. Okay, Nigeria. What does it mean? I'm helping you with the question. JT, rise now. You know we love you. Young people love JT. Can you give JT a hand? Rise and talk now for your generation.
Let me prophesy. That's the only thing I can say. Because right now, I mean, he said it already about the negative image.
I didn't say it was BK.
As I said, he said so.
Okay.
And speaking about the majority, which is a reality. However, I know that we have, I mean, in this room, if Nigeria was filled with people like this in this room, then we'll have a better nation. So we represent the real Nigeria. Let me put it that way.
And what does that mean, the real Nigeria? What would the Nigeria of your dreams look like? Nobody there. Thank you very much. A bold guy is going to give us his name. No, you need to watch my hand. Here he is. They were like, good. Rise, give us your name and then what you think there.
I'm Steven Ojiribeka.
Okay.
The dream I think I have for the country is a dream whereby you talk what is being produced in Nigeria. You, as a person, will be proud to say we stand for the right things. Not just look at, let's take it from the eastern side, whereby you produce one thing and you find out because we don't have that value attached to it, we end up putting a tag from the other word. The better word, rather.
This guy is representing his constituency. He's talking about production, sales, which label you put. Is it Okreka? Is it Aba? Okay, I understand. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
Where do we go to? I need 3 mics on stage, really. Where do we go to? Thank you so much for the good work you're doing for us. He's helping us to interpret. Thank you so much. Can we give him a hand? God bless you. So, where do you think how do we solve this identity crisis? I'm still, not to lie, I'm still worried that anybody will see something on social media and actually believe it's true. I'm still worried because we know it is fake. So why would you internalize it? I'm coming back to that question. You want to answer that question? Okay. Hold this question in your mind. How do we solve the identity crisis? No. I'm actually worried about that because we all know that people fix their makeup, come up on social media. We know that people, I don't know, we know it's not true. How do you believe what is a lie?
Okay, so.
And let that affect you. You compare yourself to something that's not real. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. You need to help me to make sense of it.
Okay, SJ, it doesn't make sense to you because you are of a different generation. And that's the truth. In your generation, the value system was different. And when we talk about the
My
value
son
system,
said, yeah.
yeah, that's
You
the
are joking
truth.
with your dinner
And
tonight.
And even when she was saying, she was asking the 3 critical questions about what would you die for. Lots of young people will say, death, why are you asking me about what I would die for? Why? When did it get so deep and so serious? Because y'all are too serious. In inverted commas. Okay. But life in itself is serious. But I'm saying that in between the generations and the years, things have changed. And things have not changed for good. So do
you agree with her that you are not an improvement on the generation before you? She's not on your side.
Wait now. In a lot of areas, in your generation, the things that you were taught to strive for, the things that made you relevant. For example, in my generation, it's more about material things. How much do you have? What are you wearing? All of that. So when we were in secondary school, like in my brother's school, they used to obtain their school shoes from them. If my brother wasn't wearing a certain kind of Timberland to school, and I'm not Z, I'm Y, it mattered. If I didn't get, moccasins and, then that was, so materialism. Now, the people in my generation are in their late 20s and 30s. And so it's about how much do I have? When did I buy what? What am I wearing? And the need to show it off. Because people are no longer raised to believe in themselves. So that approval from the world is what now gasses them up. Unfortunately or unfortunately, every good thing has a bad side. Social media is great because it's technology. But social media also has its ills. But we don't shine the light on the ills. So I post a picture and it matters to me the number of likes I get in an hour. So that tells me I'm suddenly important. It doesn't matter. Even let's go down to birthday posts, guys. Let's be real. Yeah. There are some people that I will call to wish a happy birthday, but they will be upset that they didn't get a post on Instagram. Even though I spent the day with them, I took cake to their house. But it's because in our generation, it matters that we are seen in a certain way. And it doesn't help as well. As much as I'm an entertainer, so I celebrate the recognition of the entertainment careers. But the downside to that is everybody wants to now be a celebrity or a star, and these things are now attached to the material things. So it's a chain reaction of a downward fall. And except even the people that have the platforms start to shift the attention of the people's attention that they have, it's not going to get better. That's the real truth.
I'm going to ask both of you this question. How do we then, what is the way forward? It's a short conversation, but what is the way forward? When someone is telling me they actually know it is fake, I don't understand how someone would tell me, I know I'm a woman, I know the fact, but you can convince me otherwise. I don't quite get it. I know the truth, but it's not sinking into my brain. That is what you're telling me. And I find it odd, but it's okay. You said I'm old, that's why. So that's what you told me. You quoted it, but I got it. So, TJ, what can you do? What is the way? I think I have an identity crisis. What is the way out of it? I'm tired.
I believe it probably mainly starts from you finding what you love and hate. So, firstly, you should probably, find what you love in this world, and especially why you do it. So, for example, I do love electronic engineering.
So when you say what you love, you should at least start from who am I? What do I love? Yeah. What do I hate? I should ask myself some fundamental questions.
Yeah. Okay. You should start from asking yourself basically why you're on this earth.
Why you're on this earth?
Yeah.
So are you saying your purpose, or what are you saying?
Yeah, I am saying if you wanna find your identity, and if you want to do that, you obviously have to find your purpose. And to find your purpose, you have to find what you love and hate. Like I said, for example, I love electronic engineering, but then I do hate the suffering that amputees go through from the ravages of war and diseases. So I use my electronic engineering degree to then work on, let's say, limbs and electronic robots and things that can be put into our lives to actually better
so allow
ourselves.
me to cut in. you are saying the first step is to find your purpose.
Yes.
And in finding your purpose, you
Yes.
have to know what you love
Yes.
and what you hate.
Yes.
And what is important about love and hate is that purpose will lie in the nexus of love and hate.
Yes.
So what I love doing, maybe I like singing, for instance, right?
Yeah.
But I hate the suffering of the youth.
Yeah.
So I can sing and raise money maybe to fight youth causes, something like that. So BK, how do I identity crisis, because it's an issue. Okay, they're applauding you. But it's not Princeton.
I think for me, it's a difficult question because I've asked myself this severally, and because of what I'm doing, I tend to see things more holistically. I think some of the problems we're discussing in this room is peculiar to this room or peculiar to Lagos. I'm looking at Nigeria as a whole, right? And then there's different levels of how deep we have gone. I think generally, nationalistically, if we're going to move forward as a nation, that's a different issue. But yes, I think it's a reorientation of our thinking from the house. I think the family has a function, the society has a function, the media has a function. I'll give you an example. What are we celebrating? I posted something on my Instagram yesterday where I saw an official letter typed by, I think, the Ekiti State University for the best student in something, 100 naira.
I don't get it. What's 100 naira?
There was a prize for the best student, I think, in a particular course in Ekiti State, a graduating student, and the price was 100 naira. Right? And they typed it. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not saying all other...
What's wrong with it?
100 naira.
Okay, wait. There are two things. In other societies, the whole idea, I know 100 naira can buy anything, I'm not foolish. But in other societies, it was about the recognition, about being the best student. There is no way money can reward you for being the best student.
It doesn't have to
I
be
was
money.
the best student in like 4 or 5 different, who was in Ife in those days? 4 or 5 different courses. And some were books. You understand what I'm saying? Not one thing was worth anything. They were all books.
I wasn't saying the money should be 1 million naira.
What's wrong with 100 naira? I'm just asking.
I was saying that for being the best students, these are ways with which you reorientate.
Yeah.
For being the best students, how much are you being celebrated? Not in terms of money. There was a video I came across weeks ago about a lady who graduated.
I'm sorry, I'm going to take you up on that.
I'm going back there.
What you just said is that 100 naira is small.
I'm going back there.
And they also agree that 100 naira is small. So, not all of you, I know. I know the room, I can see the room. Is X, Y, Z. That's how the generations are aligned in this room right now. X came on time. Y came after. Z are still coming.
You just answered my question for me. I'll tell you how.
Okay.
I don't want to mention a particular show. Let's leave the show.
The show.
The show. I don't want to mention a particular show. Let's leave the show. I want to go as fickle as... this is no disrespect.
I'm lost. To which show?
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Now, I want to talk about... I understand beauty pageants for representing national interest, Miss Nigeria, Miss World.
Okay.
Then you see things like Miss Lakasera, Miss something, and then you find a cash prize and media recognition to the tunes of millions.
Okay.
And then you now ask, why shouldn't the young women or men
I get it.
be fickle on social media? So which brings me back to is what we celebrate. Okay. Now, as a family, I think that...
stop there because you need to clap for him. We're going to get more of what we celebrate in every society. I agree. It's more of what you celebrate that you get. Yeah.
So back to the family, I think that this is even beyond education. Our definition of education here is learning how to read and write. I think it goes beyond that. Mm-hmm. I think what values do you instill in your children growing up? What values do you have? Now, to the media, too, what do you celebrate? Then, to the society as well, what do you celebrate? So I think the reorientation starts from the house.
Yeah.
And what you learn from your house is what you become as a person.
Okay, I agree, but we need to put a pin in that. Why? Because a lot of us are not responsible for what our parents did. So now we need to do something. You're not responsible for what your parents did to you. So now you need to be the one who's going to be different in your generation. What can you do as a person to solve this impasse, which is on? Detola is the CEO of Glitz Event Center and the president of JCI, Junior Chamber International. So can we give her a hand? Because you are dealing with youth every day. So what are you telling them? Forget your parents. We know the parents may have failed. And he said that. Forget the state. Maybe the state didn't come through for you. Now you are on your own. Oyo. What are you going to do? Stop blaming everybody. What are you going to do?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So I think, like he said, it needs to start from family.
But the family has...
Yes. I just came from a youth event, and we found that leaving that youth event, we realized that we need to come together and try to fix the problem of undergraduates.
Undergraduates?
Yes. So we're not even talking children anymore. But we see a problem, and we all agree that if we don't fix this problem, within the next 1 year or so, this whole structure will be gone.
I'm telling you.
And it's a matter of not taking, there's this ownership mentality. Entitlement mentality.
Okay.
You must do this for me. I don't know where that came from. I found parents, and with due respect to every parent in the room, who are more like friends with our children than parents. It's okay to be friends with your children. I believe we need to be free enough with our children for them to tell us anything, but we must let them realize that we are first their parents before anything else. So we've seen children, we hear stories every day of how parents call on drivers and shout them down for going with the Mazda instead of the Mercedes Benz, those kind of things that we would never, ever say to our parents when we were being raised. So with due respect to parents here, I believe that the way children are being raised now is totally different from how we were raised.
I'm going to put a pin in that too. I'm going to have to put a pin in that. You know why? You're back to where, because I'm very specific. Awesome. You're learning something, but the kids are coming. You're heading somewhere. Because I'm coming back. I have to come back to BK because you are blaming the parents again. The parents, no, you're telling me the parents should. Okay, your parents have raised you wrong. You are entitled. Do you even know you are entitled?
Okay.
You don't know. So you are your own problem now. I have somebody there, then I'm coming back to Prince BK.
I want to address this thing where it's being said that it should start from the family. I believe that it should start from you.
Thank you. Clap for him, Jare. If your parents fail you, would you move forward?
We can't necessarily say that our parents have failed us because, number one, they brought you into this world, and without them, you wouldn't be alive. You wouldn't be a person. It's just I have a...
Okay, clap for him. He likes his parents. They brought him into this world. You have your own mommy issues. That's your problem. He's fine.
As a person, if you are indeed a youth and you see the vices in the country and you see that this thing is not working out for your community, and you're just sitting down there, you're adding more petrol to the fire and saying this thing will not work, Nigeria will not be better, in 50 years time will still be the same thing. It's never the way you confess it. My dad, Pastor Chopin, said that the way you confess it with your mouth, that is how it's always going to be. So unless you rearrange your mindset, reorientate your mindset, and you change your view or your perspective on the country and your person, you are not going to move anywhere.
Give him a hand. Honestly, give him a hand. The guy, okay, Prince Vicky, are you going to allow the audience? Okay, thank you very much. You're going to give us your name. Give him a hand. He said, you have to take personal responsibility. To me, the solution for entitlement is ownership. We have 45-year-old men talking about what their father did or did not do. If you like, sit down there. Okay.
Okay, Isaac Abraham here. Now, first and foremost...
Isaac Abraham.
Yes.
That takes the cake.
Of course. Okay, now, 90% of the youths in this room have never looked in the mirror and tell themselves the truth of who they are.
Okay.
Forgetting the fact that our parents have failed us and have watered down the truth. Like, you tell your kids, this is wrong, but you find a way not to hurt their feelings. First, the
Pause
entitlement
there.
came.
Do I tell you the truth in that way, not to hurt your feelings? Take the mic and say it inside.
No.
But a lot of parents do that.
Tola was there with DDK yesterday, and I mean, what are the parents in the room afraid of? What is the problem? Cut off the school fees now.
Excuse me. Now, your parents don't tell you the truth. Social media present the truth to you in reality. You don't see yourself in the mirror. When you go on social media, you see someone that has faced his reality and is doing it, and then you identify with that. That is what is affecting 80% of us in this room.
No, I didn't get it now. You just said that though your parents don't tell you the truth, social media is parenting you by telling you the truth.
Exactly. And then you identify with that quick and fast.
To an extent, kind of, to an extent. So I think for an example is that like...
I'm coming BK.
I think he means that like, for example, if your parents don't teach you into what to do, either social media or society would teach that into you without you knowing.
Please, if you mean that what you're saying is the way we say in olden days, that if they don't teach you at home, they'll teach you outside. Is that what you're saying?
That is just
Okay, Isaac Abraham, Prince BK needs to say something. Give him a hand.
So I was answering the question about how do we start. So for those who have children coming, that's when I say it starts from the family. But when you are an adult and you have become of age, it starts with you.
When do we become of age?
By the time you are conscious about your environment, I think by the time you are, for me, in my own field, let me come to my own field, is your voting age.
18.
Let me come to my own field.
Let's start earlier, because at 18, it would have been late for some people.
So before then, before 18, or before you are out of your house, or before you are of consenting age, it still brings us back to family, right? So I'm speaking of those of us who are of age now.
We really need to address those who are in the room, because most of us don't have kids. So we want to address, I want to fix my own situation. I want to be a leader in my own generation. I hope you understand why we're having this conversation. I know I have issues, I agree. And I know the issues need fixing, which, give yourself a hand, is a great step from where many people are. We know. Tell me what to do. You are walking your own path. What do I do? He said he appreciates his own parents. He doesn't know what you are saying. Isaac Abraham says, if they don't teach you at home, they will teach you outside. What are you saying? Leave the parents out of it. What do? I want to fix my own problems. I want it out of everybody's hands.
Well, fortunately and unfortunately, when it comes to the reality of life and what you expect from life, you can choose within yourself to have a mind of your own and to walk your own path. However, not everybody is fortunate enough just because you say, me, I'm going this way, and it will work out for you. It's a collective as a society. And coming back to my own field, it's about having a mind of your own when it comes to the people who are going to make decisions for your life, which brings me back to society, which brings me back to voting, which brings me back to your leaders. Because whether we like it or not, we are entitled to comfort and security from our leaders. However, as a collective...
I disagree that we are entitled to comfort.
From our leaders,
Totally.
Security.
Yeah.
Let me remove comfort now. Security, basic amenities of life. And I'll say something. Again, I'm addressing the room, but I would like to say that, Lagos is not Nigeria, but let me address Lagos and even our so-called educated young people. Now, you find that first is an issue for you to get your PVC. Either it is a seamless process or not. That's one. Although out of Lagos, every young person has their PVC. We'll come to that. Two, when it comes to voting. Now, you find some of us going with the tide or being afraid to have our own stance or even looking at elections as things of debates and ideals. We say, let me even mention names.
We are going to have to start to...
Let me even mention, some names. Now, in the last election, we had several options. And it was a general opinion among some people that these ones were not serious. Why didn't they go and start from Senate? Why didn't they go and start from this? Which is fine, that's their business. However, but we're the same people who complain that we don't have options, that we are stuck with either this or that. Oh, if you vote for any of these options, your vote is wasted. Now, I'll address this. If you, as an educated person, have other, I'm not saying those people options were the right option, I'm just saying, if you, as an educated person, have a clear view of whether this person has a chance of winning the election or whether this person is better than this person, and you vote with the person who so-called has a chance of winning the elections, then you are a problem. Let that change start from you. That you, as the educated person who is in the constituency of someone who can speak to your ideals and values, go and vote for this person. But no, he cannot win, so I'll sit there in my house. You are a problem.
So he's saying basically we shouldn't rubber stamp whoever I think is already going to make it, right? But I also think that people might have been realistic and already thinking maybe experience also matters. Now you are in the field. And did you see any big difference between the way young people were behaving in the field as from older people? Because we hear you were one of the people who championed the age for which you could stand, yes, to run for office. And we just had a 41-year-old, the youngest senator. I like the youngest senator and the youngest governor. They're the worst mess-ups in the country. I mean, they are the worst mess-ups. The youngest senator slaps people. The youngest governor does not pay. He says that if you commit suicide, is your problem. I mean, they're just having a ball, you know, and making the older people look good. So, did you see any difference, really? Truthfully, I'm not saying justify young people, just, do you see any difference between the young people and the older people? Because you say the youth are the future.
Well, I'm going to be factual, and I'm going to be as real as possible. When we were lobbying for Not Too Young to Run and protesting and all of that, then for me it was about young people who have something to offer, who are by law being deprived of a chance, while older people who may or may not have anything to offer are there running for office. Now, that being said, in the position that I'm in now, I think that being a young person alone is not a currency for power.
Well, clap for him there. But we want you to give us your experience in the field, because you told me some things when you came back from the field that I had to go on radio. Did NEPA take late? I had to go on radio and say, because it was a shock. Because when I was young, our own young people, oh gosh, all right, Naomi, thank God, somebody in my demographic. He made you too. Our days were the days of ideology. Our days were the days that when something is not going well, the military government with guns are afraid of what students will do. With guns. Go and Google Ali must go and find out what happened. Because of something like 5 naira that they added to cafeteria fees or something like that. But we were not strange, because it was also the youth in America that made sure Nixon was impeached. What are you marching for? The last time youth marched in Nigeria, it was youth earnestly asked for Abacha. And they were paid to earnestly ask for Abacha. I remember. What did you see in the field? Are things better? I mean, do the youth, because you're so charismatic and you have ideas, did they rush to your support when you got back to your constituency? We're rounding up.
This is a round conversation because
VK will
no, I'm a politician. Sorry, I must address every angle, and I'll tell you why.
No, I actually would just want an answer. Then we'll come back and balance it. Don't worry. When you represent your constituency, I can join Modern Democratic Party. Maybe I came to speak, but I just said when you got to the field, what did you see?
Again, I would have you understand that, you know, when I initially started,
yes,
because as I grow and I see the different realities, when I initially started, in fact, majority of what I was shouting is that, young people are not being given a chance.
Okay.
Is that young people are not participating in politics or governance or whatnot. But then when I went out of Lagos, across Nigeria, I found that everybody, both young, old, even 10-year-old babies are participating. They have their PVC, even 10-year-old children.
Who shouldn't have?
They belong to political parties for foolish reasons. Because they know that PVC is going to give them 2,000 naira one day. Or whatever political party meeting they are going to, they must give them Ankara and rice and all of that. So I'm speaking holistically because it may be a view that most of us here haven't seen. So that's why I said it's round.
I want you to give us
now,
a fresh perspective.
My fresh perspective is, first, being a youth is not a currency for power. It's about competence. And
competence at any age.
Well, now, you see, why Nigeria is difficult to talk about is because we are not an ideal country. You see, it's easy for us to have sharp answers for these questions, but we will be lying. We must go deeper. We must go deeper. You see,
we're rounding up. It's 30 minutes. I'm going to go to the crowd. Give honesty, because BK, you are being a politician here. I wanted a live story from the war front, because JT is going for politics in another Kini. We're going together. So I want us to know what we're going to expect. You've told us that when you got there, things were not so much. Did any youth come to you and actually demand to be paid?
She's trying to.
I'm not trying to anything. I'm just asking.
So what you find across Nigeria
I have a youth there. I'm going for the youth.
Is that
Mama, I want to get the youth, because they say we don't allow youth to talk. I must allow the youth to talk. In sunglasses. But you're going to finish saying what you're saying. Yeah, then he talks. And then we're rounding up.
As I've clearly understood, that politics is one thing.
Is what?
Is one thing. Development or what you pursue when you get into office is another thing. Now, the biggest mistake you make as a young person going into this is that everybody thinks the same way, or everybody reasons the same way, or everybody wants the same thing. Either both old, young, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can find a 90-year-old man who supports what you are saying, and the same age mate does not support what you are saying because of his interest. So politics is interest. Now, what she wants me to say is that we went into the 2019 elections with the hope that young people will stand up for their fellow young people, right? And getting to the field, you found that the leaders are not the problem. Neither are the young people alone, but the people.
That's it. Give him a hand. Where I'm going there, I didn't even want you to say anything particular, BK. I just wanted it to be factual. Is that when we keep complaining that our leaders are problems, we're making it sound as if they bring these leaders by rocket ship from Mars, so that they're not part of us. What we're saying is that the pipeline is the problem. We are the problem. If the pipeline for leadership, good leadership, is not full, Generation Z will grow up, become 30, 40, be ready to be voted in, and continue to regurgitate the same nonsense that the people who are 50, 60, and 70 have done. There's no difference. So we have systemic problems, and it starts from us. So trying to point the whatever, just the fact that my hair is gray does not make me a problem to you. If the person who is 15 is asking BK for 3,000 naira to vote for him, and the person who is 90 is also asking him for 3,000 naira to vote, a 90-year-old. That means the problem it has nothing to do with age. It's to do with the fact that there is a systemic problem, and the correction has to come from us. I'm going to take a last comment because we need to move forward. Yeah, that's what I told you. I said towards the end I will stop taking, because everybody will now start putting there. I know how it works. You're going to make it short because you look like a politician.
So I think the first thing is that...
Thank you for saying ma. It's okay.
We must stop this consistent attempt to actually undermine the not young to run, or try to find a convenient identity for people who fail to impress.
Please, did you understand what he said?
I do.
Nobody understands.
So, like, what I was trying to say is that we must stop this consistent and deliberate attempt to undermine the not young to run by rubbing off the excesses of people who have failed to impress on the bill. That's the first thing.
I think what he's trying to say is that we shouldn't, because of singular examples of young people who are messing up wherever they've been entrusted to operate, and use that to generalize as young people are not competent. I get you.
So pause there. Pause there. The same reason is why you cannot say because some 70-something plus people are messing up, you throw out all the baby with the bathwater.
No.
Age has nothing to do with it. Exactly. I will say why I'm saying so. Age has nothing to do with it. A young governor says he doesn't want to listen to everybody over 50. Why? Is 50 the watermark for when your brain goes dead?
So what I'm saying essentially is that the vicious senator or the incompetent governor, they are not incompetent because they are young. They are not, they are not evil or vicious because he's young. Evil or incompetence or lack of character knows no age or demography.
That's all.
Exactly. So for every time, the press goes and says, oh, the younger senator has done this.
Okay, thank you very much. We're not the press in this room. We get your point. Give him a hand. We're not talking about that. We're just saying that, no, we need to wrap up because one more person needs to talk. We're just saying that this constant refrain, you understand that, it's because the young are not there. It's because the young are not there. Being young does not necessarily entitle you to anything, but let me tell you what being young gives you. Curiosity. In the past, curiosity. I can't say anymore now. Because being young used to mean you were inquisitive. You wanted to know more. Being idealistic. That was what it was to be young. You were not burdened with Pampers money, SMA, everything. You took your decisions idealistically. But right now, I don't know. Are young people idealistic in Nigeria?
Yes.
They are idealistic?
Yeah.
Oh, you say that because, Tola, you agree young people are idealistic? You are young. You think you are young. Idealistic. Okay. All right. So that's what I think that youth should be delivering. So whoever has those traits, as far as I'm concerned, is who we should be looking for. Who knows the ideal, measures themselves by the ideal, and also inquisitive, curious, ready to move with new technology, ready to move with the times, is listening. I hate parochialism. I hate older people who just don't want to be woke. You are talking to them and they're telling you what should be. You have one last thing to say. Yeah, give Tola the mic. She wants to say something. Why? No, don't give her a proper applause. Introduce yourself. What did you just, because you seem to be at the cutting edge of things. So what did you just do? Your last assignment.
Okay, good evening. My name is Tola Ademi. I was the immediate past SSA to the last Lagos State Governor on public utilities monitoring and the Executive Secretary to the Lagos State Environmental Trust Fund.
Something long, Sha.
Something long, yeah. Okay. I had a very long title. So, I guess in terms of looking at youth in politics and governance, I've seen it all.
That's why I wanted you to talk.
So I've seen both youth and older people. And again, it is not being young is not in government means nothing if you don't have the ideals behind it. I had younger people, even people younger than me at higher levels, and people that I worked with, older people as well. But then I realized that, as she said, idealism, I was able to sometimes damn the consequences of a lot of things when I came up against vested interest in government, because worst case scenario, you can fire me, I don't have any school fees to pay. Worst case, I'll move back into my parents' house, I'm fine, so I can tell anybody, I'll face any panel. I faced so many panels, I became an expert in it. So whenever anybody wanted to face panel, they came to me for how to navigate both head of service, House of Assembly, because I will stand that this is what it is and I'm not going to change my mind.
And that's what it really means to be young.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Idealistic.
So, yeah, being idealistic and just pushing for it. And then sometimes being the only person, and even if you're the only person in the room that has the right idea, what I find is if you stand your ground, the other people, out of shame, somehow will follow you. Will follow you. And that's, again, being young because you are daring. You can dare people to their faces. So I really commend you on your journey,
yeah.
but then... and again, so I just want to implore young people here, because there's this whole thing about government being dirty, governance being dirty. If you see the pipeline of the established political parties, their pipeline for the next 20 years, the next 5 political cycles, you would weep. And it's because we don't want to put ourselves in the learning position. We think we know it all. But you have to learn the ropes to be able... Nigeria, so Lagos, we all look at Lagos like, we all live in Lagos. Nigeria is a huge country and a very complex country. You could have been smart, you could have gone to Harvard, Yale, but trust me, you do not understand the complexities of governance and politics in this country. You have to submit yourself to learn, even from the people that you don't like. Because they know something.
Like this is everything. This is everything. Go on.
I'm fine. Think that.
Finish. Just finish it.
So if you're interested in politics, governance, and it's not even necessarily, it could be you, like he mentioned, TJ mentioned, in terms of working with amputees. So you'll be surprised the convergence and the intersectionalities between governance, policy, and even healthcare, technology, transportation, education. But then one thing I always say is that if you are not very careful, if you don't look at your politics, policy, and governance, one sentence in a regulation can change your entire existence as a Nigerian. And that is why we have to pay more attention, and more people like the kind of people in this room have to get into the system.
Okay.
So even I have always worked for an APC, ACN, APC, that iteration government, and I know people would, say, but I know what my goal is, and it's for a better Nigeria, one way or the other.
Okay, last words. Nothing political. Tell us the way it is. What is the way forward? This is the panel. We're going to end with Prince. What is the way forward? Or do you have something to say? What is the way forward? No. Prince, what is the way forward? The way forward. What is the way forward?
Just to conclude with what she said, I think that evolving in the last couple of years, we have done, or we are doing, too much talking to the people who can be leaders and less talking to the people who are the followers. Because the reason I say this is submitting yourself to the process. Yes, more people are even doing that through even the Not Too Young to Run bill, despite arguments on both sides. But the most important part, which we don't get to speak on often in front of crowds or with cameras on, within and outside Lagos, is when it comes down to it, the government that you pick is what directs your life, whether you like it or not.
We agree.
And Nigeria as it is, we need to say it as it is, Lagos aside, Lagos is a country on its own, is a sinking ship. And if we don't wake up to do something about it, we will sink with it. Not everybody has the opportunity to go to Canada or America or Turkey and whatnot. A lot of us are here, and we need to open our eyes and be serious and be ready to make that sacrifice for the greater good.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was like good last words. It's saying it's a wake-up call. To be honest, if you talk to leaders, they're saying exactly that, but they're not going to tell you openly. So please wake up, Oga, I'm talking to. It's a sinking ship. Nobody wants to say it. I don't know what the consequences of me saying this on live streaming is going to be, but the truth is they have no clue. They really have no clue anymore. They're going, I don't know, we don't know what to do. So that's why this generation has to rise up and say, if you You've lived your own life. Don't wreck it for me. That's just really it. You've had a good life so far. Don't wreck it for me. I remember when dollars were 1.2 to 1. The naira was 1 naira was $1.2. I used to go abroad in those days. Still do. But when it became 22, I thought, no, it became 8. I thought we couldn't survive. It became 22. I adjusted. 350 something. I'm still living. You need for people to stop telling you stories about how it used to be. Because it's your Nigeria, it belongs to you. We have to take ownership of the country. Not as an entitlement that somebody should have given to us, but as our own legacy to the generation coming. That we're going to have to make it happen. Since our parents don't seem to care, I'm just saying that it is your country. Canada is tired of you. Yes, if you're not tired of yourself, Canada is tired of you. How many are they? Not everybody can go to America. You go to the embassy, it's so full. My gosh, it's so full. And we are probably one of the countries that are most blessed on earth. So what are we doing about it? I want us to stop blaming everybody and begin to look inwards. That am I part of the problem or am I part of the solution? Really and truly, our fathers bring fake passports to us at home. We know it's fake. What do we say? It's part of the problem. Thank you so much, BK. Thank you, TJ. Lala, you're moving us very quick. And thank you, audience.